I'm saying here is there a possible world with no evil in human interactions? In part 3, we discussed the interconnectedness of all life on this planet. What has been occurring in recent years is a ramping up of the fragmentation process. The more humans are focused on mundane tasks, the less they are noticing the inner workings of those who seek control. Power itself needs fragmentation in order to gain more power. Hierarchies consist of each layer below being broken down into smaller parts that can be managed. It's really difficult to think big and see all life as a system if you have always been looking at it from the point of view of one puzzle piece, as in the slide. It's broken from the whole. Another example of this concept we can use is from the movie Finding Nemo. What's interesting is the etymology for Nemo is Latin, literally, no man, no one, nobody. The other fish in the dentist's office, they grew up in tanks, fish tanks, from stores. They had no experience of the actual ocean. They only heard about it from others. So when Nemo shows up and tries to tell them about the ocean, he might as well be talking about a TV show from their point of view. Or maybe this guy's just nuts and he made up this whole ocean thing. So our current existence is like the tank that Nemo's in. The idea that we can change our behavior and in that process change the world is like the new fish, Nemo. Nemo's not a man. He's nobody. He represents man's thought. He's discovery, the new idea. Everyone listening is like the fish in the fishbowl who grew up in the fishbowl. It's hard to imagine an ocean that you've never been in. So a new idea in a similar way. So what I'm saying here is there a possible world with no evil in human interactions? Your mind will say, that's impossible, because our fishbowl has been diluted with evil as long as we've been swimming in it. I made my own list of methods of manipulation. These are things I think are used in war, in terms of strategies, and things I think are thought up behind the scenes in modern days. Play on people's fears. Poison the food supply. Poison the water supply. Divide and conquer. Indoctrination from an early age. Storytelling. Capture the imagination. Subversive symbolism. Poisonous medicine. Hegelian dialectic. Tar baby tactic. Encirclement. Emotional traumatic experiences. In all the history of humankind, all methods of coercion have been experimented with. The authorities and controlling forces of the world have achieved a long list of methods to control populations. To keep people in a state of fear and scarcity, a ruler warns constantly of an impending doom or a force which threatens us all, thereby requiring the raising of an army and, of course, more taxes. The food and water supply would have historically been an important part of any battle or war between peoples. In modern times, it does not take much research to find examples of food and water being altered or poisoned or neglected in some way to be harmful to humans. Divide and conquer is a method of keeping people distanced and fearful of each other. Flags, borders, and military salutes are great propagating the idea that there's lots of other groups to fear, so we must ourselves be totally brutal and deadly force. Still knowing that wouldn't that be the credo of the other army? Certain religions, historically, were much more forceful with their views. People were killed for heresy, or worse, tortured. In modern times, there's still much pressure to fit in and be like the others. This occurs in churches, schools, and jobs. There is an expectation of conformity. In NLP, the practitioner learns to tell a story to get the subject in an imaginative state, so that the practitioner can drop little hints and repeat key words meant to instruct the tranced listener to follow specific embedded messages. Symbolism could be a whole series by itself. What is important to realize is that symbolism is a language of the universe. Certain archetypes exist that are understood on a subconscious level, even if they are not comprehended in logical thought on the surface. Though we certainly have learned a lot about medicine in the modern age, there's much harm being done. Over 300,000 deaths a year due to pharmaceuticals. Hegelian dialectic will be discussed in an upcoming slide. The tar baby idea is using a decoy to flush out all the resistance so they can be nullified. Encirclement is the ancient strategy of just completely surrounding the enemy in every way. Emotional traumatic experiences tend to fragment the mind, forcing people into one part of the mind that feels comfortable, effectively blocking the ability to be a free thinker and use the whole brain as a unit. We're all affected by this tactic in many ways, but I would like to mention here the unnoticed effect of killing humans on television and movies. How many people have you witnessed being murdered or killed in a given week? Just because it's on the screen does not mean that it does not affect your mind and anatomy in a traumatic way.